full battery. So we're gonna try the washer mod. This is the Kevin Brown. Oh, it doesn't fit. Son of a bitch. What is this stuff? Where is it? Oh, there it is. So this is where there's a supercharged badge. It's just all scratched up around it. All right, Friday night activities. So this is a first for me, but we're gonna do Pure, Gyeon Pure. Somebody made a comment, got me thinking, why not try something new? So I've had this for a couple weeks now, and I've been eager to try it. So I was able to convince Bradley to be a guinea pig. But this is Bradley's 2016 A7. He recently bought this car I've done prior details for Bradley. He had an A6 Avant? Was it A4? A4 Avant? I think it was A4 Avant. That he totaled. But the Avant was pretty cool. It was lowered, it had wheels on it. You just don't see them that often. Now, this is a new car to Bradley. It's got 50 some odd thousand miles on it. I just did a light paint correction, mainly because the color's forgiving. The paint's in fair shape. You know, I could have easily two-stepped this car, done a heavy paint correction, but I didn't think it was worth it. You know, we'll save Bradley a couple bucks, save me the time. The other constraint was Bradley's not local to Charlotte. He used to live in Charlotte, but he's somewhere in North Carolina. He's a couple hours away, but he's staying in a hotel this weekend, right? So I want to respect his time. But I first met Bradley years ago. You know, it was right when I was first starting. And at the time, right, so I got laid off. I was doing detailing full time. And for some reason, you know, divine intervention or something, but I had a number of clients all with multiple cars around the same time. So Bradley had 2 cars. He had the Avant, he had a Boxster. I met, you know, Dane had the M2 and his buddy had the F80. Hinton had a 430, and then we did his brother's M5. You know, so I had a number of clients that just had, you know, 2 cars or a close referral. So it was, you know, it was amazing timing for me because I was working full time, or I was detailing full time. You know, so to get these kind of influx of multiple cars was kind of exciting. So, you know, I had a 9-month-old baby, a full-time nanny at the house. You know, I was eager to work. So because of that, you know, it's funny how I remember clients at certain points. You know, even with Bradley moving out of Charlotte, the fact that he still wants to come here and let me, you know, wash his cars, I'll take it. So, you know, that contributes to my willingness to, you know, condense my timeline and work around his schedule. So I'll share the results of the hedge fund. We'll see what their performance is. I'm interested. I don't know if I'm going to add to the position or not. You know, initially I was thinking I would, you know, kick in $1,000 a month. You know, I went to like 80% cash in November of last year, like late November. After the election, there was that big run up in equities. I followed the run up and then I sold a bunch of stuff. And I've been sitting on cash for a while. You know, I've been buying little bits here and there, but the last couple weeks I finally just put it back in the market. So I went from like 70% cash down to 20 in the last couple weeks. But the thinking was if we're on this, you know, 10-year plan, I want to start growing the snowball. All right, so that means a shift from growth to income. Now, I'm definitely not putting all of my, you know, positions in, you know, dividend stocks, but, you know, the 401k is there. You know, I have a backdoor IRA that I do. I have equity from my company. I have a tiny pension from a prior employer. You know, my wife has the same. So all that stuff is still growth, you know, with a 30-year term on it. But I have an account, like a taxable brokerage account that I probably touch too much. So that means I'm going to have some, you know, serious tax implications, which is a whole nother topic, right? A lot of people don't like the dividend approach because of the taxes. You know, but I'm okay with that. You know, part of my concern is our taxes are always a net payer anyways. You know, so prior to this, I was doing a lot of cash secured puts. I was doing covered calls. And all those are short-term gains, tax at ordinary income anyways. You know, so I'm shifting away from that. Mainly because I got burned. I kept getting burned on both sides. It'd be crazy. You know, I was in a fair amount of cash secured puts, and then here comes Liberation Day, and I didn't close my positions. Market's tanked, and I'm the guy with a, you know, short put. You know, so like I realized a 30K loss within like 2 weeks on these short puts. And the beauty with the short put is, you know, you just roll it forward, right? So when I rolled the trade, I did have to realize that short-term loss, right? So it was minus 30. You roll out to a credit, down and out. And fortunately, the market bounced back enough to where, you know, I recovered like 25 of it in like 2 weeks. But you're still $5,000 down, which is annoying. But it's not 30 down. I can't sit there and watch the markets every day, you know, with these cash secured puts. You know, I was doing 30-day expiries, 20 deltas, on a handful of stocks. You know, but the problem is there's an analogy, you know, picking up pennies in front of a steamroller. Okay, but yeah, this pure is definitely a little stickier than Mohs. It's just that initial wipe. It doesn't feel as slick as Mohs either, but we're gonna see how the looks go. My machine though, that HLR, I don't know what's wrong with it. It feels like it's the trigger, but I need to see if Rupes will service it. I know they'll service it. I'm trying to see if it's what that process is. I wish Flex made a 21 millimeter 6-inch backing plate setup. They only have the smaller 15 mil. 15 is too small. You know, big hood like this, there's no point in having a 15. I don't like them. This car looks really good though. It was a little dull coming in, needed a bit of a refresh. I know Bradley has a couple improvements for the car, like the front grille needs to be replaced. We were talking about spacers and changing out these amber, the reflectors on the front, the red ones on the back. I think you just want to do some very light visual stuff to it. But yeah, the grill is definitely peeled pretty bad. Not sure what happened there. Done. All done. A7. Pure was decent. It was a little stickier than Mohs, but no complaints as far as the application goes. Now, aesthetics, these look the same to me. Maybe once it, hardens or fully cures, maybe it'll look a little different, but the car looks great. I'm happy with it, and we'll get this thing picked up today. There it is. Look at that thing. So yeah. So this detail is $900. What do you think? Am I cheap? Am I expensive?